Assalamu alaikum and welcome back to the channel Read with Rizwan. In today's video, we shall be discussing about a topic diversity in living organisms. Meaning of diversity: different forms of life occurs on earth such as organisms, creatures, etc. Now think of all different forms in which life occurs on earth. On one hand, we have microscopic bacteria of a few micrometer in size, while on the other hand, we have blue whale and redwood trees of California of approximate sizes of 30 meters and 100 meters respectively. Some pine trees live for thousands of years, while insects like mosquitoes die within a few days. Life also ranges from colorless or even transparent worms to brightly colored and flowers. This bewildering variety of life around us has evolved on the earth over millions of years. However, we do not have more than a tiny fraction of this time to try and understand all these living organisms. So we cannot look at them by one. Instead, we look for similarities among the organisms, which allow us to put them into different classes and then study different classes or groups as a whole. In order to make relevant groups to study the variety of life forms, we need to decide which characteristics decide more fundamental differences among organisms. This would create the main broad groups of organisms. Within these groups, smaller subgroups will be reduced or decided by less important characteristics. So what is the basis of classification? Attempts at classifying living things into groups have been made since time immemorial. Greek thinker Aristotle classified animals according to whether they lived on land, in water, or in the air. This is a very simple way of looking at life, but misleading too. For example, animals that live in the sea include corals, whales, octopuses, starfish, and sharks. We can immediately see that these are very different from each other in numerous ways. In fact, habitat is only point they share in common. This is not an appropriate way of making groups of organisms to study and think about. We therefore need to decide which characteristics to be used as the basis for making the broadest divisions. Then we will have to pick the next set of characteristics for making subgroups within these divisions. This process of classification within each group can then continue using new characteristics each time. Before we go on, we need to think about what is meant by characteristics. When we are trying to classify a diverse group of organisms, we need to find ways in which some of them are similar enough to be thought of together. These ways, in fact, are details of appearance or behavior, in other words, form and function. What do you mean by characteristic is a particular feature or a particular function that most of us have. 5 fingers on each hand is thus a characteristics. Thus we can run, but the banyan tree cannot is also a characteristic. Nowadays, we look at many interrelated characteristics starting from the nature of the cell in order to classify all living organisms. What are some concrete examples of such characteristics used for hierarchical classification? A eukaryotic cell has a membrane-bound organelles, including a nucleus, which allows cellular process to be carried out efficiently in isolation from each other. Therefore, organisms which do not have a clearly demarcated nucleus and other organelles would need to have their biochemical pathways organized in very different way. This would have an effect on every aspect of cell design. Further, nucleated cells would have capacity to participate in making multicellular organisms because they can take up specialized functions. Therefore, nucleus can be a basic characteristics of classification. Moving on to classification and evolution. All living things are identified and categorized on the basis of their body design in form and function. Some characteristics are likely to make more wide-ranging changes in body design than others. There is a role of time in these as well. So once a certain body design comes into existence, it will shape the effects of all other subsequent design changes, simply because it already exists. In other words, characteristics that came into existence earlier are likely to be more basic than the characteristics that have come into existence later. Charles Darwin was the first person to describe this idea of evolution in 1859 in his book The Origin of Species. When we connect this idea of evolution to classification, we will find some groups of organisms which have ancient body designs that have not changed very much. We will also find other groups of organisms that have acquired a particular body design relatively recently. Those in the first group are frequently referred to as primitive or lower organisms. while those in the second are called advanced or higher organisms. In reality, these terms are not quite correct since they do not properly relate to the differences. All that we can say is that some are older organisms while some are younger organisms. Since there is a possibility that complexity in design will increase over evolutionary time, it may be wrong to say that older organisms are simpler while younger organisms are more complex. Biodiversity, it means the diversity of life forms. It is a word commonly used to refer to a variety of life forms found in a particular region. Okay, that's it in the video. Hope you have understood properly. In case if you have missed the earlier videos, go check it out in the playlist, and do not forget to like, share, subscribe, and do send us your valuable suggestions in the comment box. Thanks for watching.